Can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Athill,
Present.
Commissioner Green is absent.
No, Commissioner Green is present.
Commissioner Green.
Good evening,
Commissioner Green is present.
Good evening.
Commissioner Harrison is absent. Commissioner Johnson,
Present.
Commissioner Jones is absent. Commissioner Kelly,
Present.
Commissioner McClinton Watson,
Present.
Commissioner Hudson, present.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Janice. Okay, first item on the agenda is going to be memorialization of the minutes. So if commissioners, you could take a few minutes to review the minutes in the last two meetings and let me know if there are any additions or corrections needed. Okay, hearing none, seeing none, can I have a motion to approve the first set of minutes?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
I second.
A second. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, can we approve both sets of minutes at the same time if you guys don't have any additions or corrections?
You can do that.
Okay, perfect. All right, so does that first and second motion apply to both sets of minutes, commissioners?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, can we have roll call, Janice?
Commissioner Athill,
Present.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
All right.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner McClinton Watson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Hudson.
Yes. Okay, thank you guys. Minutes were approved. Okay, and we have no memorializations or of resolutions. Calendar of old business is none. So calendar of new business is case ZB 799-23. Harsh Realty LLC. The property address is 617, 621, and 627 Thomas Boulevard. Lots 891, lot 4.01, 4.02, and 4.03. Presenter Elnardo Webster. Second.
Good
Council,
evening.
you can go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elnardo. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Connell Foley. We're located at 1085 Raymond Boulevard in Newark, New Jersey, on the 19th floor. We represent the applicant 627 Thomas Boulevard LLC. These are actually three separate applications, three separate three-family homes. You'll see throughout the hearing that they are very similar. I'm going to start with block 891, lot 4.01, which is 627 Thomas Boulevard. And then I will go to, I think, 621 Thomas Boulevard, and then we'll go to 617 Thomas Boulevard. I think that's how we're listed on the agenda, but we'll show you kind of as we go. They are all related, and some of the testimony will be obviously duplicative, and some of the testimony you'll probably hear in one, answer a lot of questions, and hopefully the second two will kind of be a little quicker.
So, Counselor, can I just interrupt you for 1 second? Janice, are all three of these under one zoning board number? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Number 3, 627 Thomas Boulevard is case number ZB 802-23, and 621 Thomas Boulevard is ZB 801-23.
Okay, and just commissioners, if you could take a note of that, just for, record keeping, you know, when and if we get a motion, on these, they are, three different zoning board, applications and numbers. Thank you, Janice. I'm sorry, Mr. Webster, you can continue.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Madam Chair. I just want to make
Mhm.
sure, for everyone, Patricia Almond Kuntz, is that anyone that should be in the panels area? Just want to make sure they have their, now it's on. Okay, never mind. Everything's okay. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Webster, you can continue. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. We represent the applicant 627 Thomas Boulevard LLC, 617 Thomas Boulevard, Block 8, Lot 403. You'll hear later, like I said, about 621. I'm sorry. You'll hear late. This is 627's application. You'll hear later about 617 and 621. We are here before the board now seeking to construct one 3-family dwelling on each lot. The property is located in the city of East Orange, is R2, 2-family residential townhouse zone where a 3-family dwelling is not a permitted use. However, as you will hear from our planner this evening, while the use is not permitted, each improvement meets all the bulk standards for the zone. The new dwellings will be an overall improvement to an otherwise vacant property. I will present each proposed project individually. Tonight, I will begin with the applicant's request for preliminary and final site plan approval and use approval to construct a 3-family dwelling on the property located at 627 Thomas Boulevard, which is designated Block 891, Lot 4.01 on the East Orange tax map. Notice the application was provided more than 10 days this hearing to the local newspaper record, the Star Ledger, and provided certified return receipt requested to all property owners owning property within 200 feet of all directions from the outer boundaries of the subject property via certified mail. Return receipt requested more than 10 days prior to the meeting. An affidavit of service has been filed with the board secretary, and as such, we believe jurisdiction is proper and the board has the right to hear this case. Just for the record, we also noticed residents in Glen Ridge and Montclair, as both those addresses are within 200 feet of the subject property, and Orange. So it's a number of towns within 200 feet of this project. Again, the property is located at 627 Thomas Boulevard. The majority of the lot, 5,768 feet, is within East Orange. A small portion, 563 feet, is in the city of Orange. The total lot area is 6,331.7 feet. The applicant proposes to construct one 3-story, 3-family residential building on the property with on-site parking provided within a garage and open space parking, a total of 4 parking spaces. An individual dwelling unit is proposed on each level, a 948 square foot 2-bedroom unit on the ground floor, a 1,458 square foot 3-bedroom, 3-bath unit on the second floor and third floor. There's access to the backyard as well as access to a rooftop deck for all tenants via a communal staircase. I'm in receipt of the city planner's report dated March 3rd, 2024. We agree to comply with all the conditions that are set forth therein. We are also agreeing to install flush walkway lighting, which we will get into some testimony on. We'll be eliminating the need for pedestrian walkway illumination relief. We're also going to plant 4 trees, eliminating the need for relief. And we're also going to include shrubs along the frontage, which will also eliminate need for those. We're here tonight seeking preliminary and final site plan approval along with a D1 use variance to permit the 3-family dwelling in the R2 zone. We are seeking a design waiver for maximum driveway width, where 10 feet is the maximum and 11 feet is proposed. My first witness this evening is going to be George Fernandez, my architect. I think I see him in the waiting room. I'm not sure. Dominic, do you swear? Do you swear everybody in?
Yeah, I'll do that. See over here.
I see his hands.
There he
right.
is. Yep. Do you swear or affirm, sir, the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name for the record, spell your last, and provide the board with your business address?
Jorge Fernandez, Fernandes, registered architect, business address 75 Parkhurst Street, Newark, New Jersey.
George, for the benefit of the board, would you please provide your education, your experience, and indicate whether you're a licensed architect in New Jersey and if your license is still in good standing?
Yes, I'm a bachelor's in architecture from NJIT. My license to practice architecture in New Jersey is current, and I believe I've appeared before this board in the past.
Madam Chair, I'm asking the board to consider Mr. Fernandez an expert in the field of architecture.
Thank you, Council. Commissioners, do we have a motion to accept Mr. Fernandez as expert testimony this evening?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to accept Mr. Fernandez's credentials as and expertise.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Do we have a second?
Excuse me, Parents, this is Devin Doshi, the developer. We have our engineer, Mr. Balan on. Okay, I see him now. All right. Yeah.
I second.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Green. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, thank you. You can continue, Mr. Elnardo.
Thank you, Chair. George, I know you have designed a very nice building. Would you please share your screen and walk the board through the layout of the property? And also, I just want to mark one exhibit, which is kind of a rendering of what the three properties will look like. So I'd like George to share your screen and kind of walk us through the design.
Sure. So I guess I'll start with the rendering.
Okay.
I guess you'll have to mark this as an exhibit.
I'll mark this as exhibit A1.
Yes. Okay.
Is it dated? What is there a date on it, or is it just mark it for today's date?
I'll mark it for today's date, Mr. Diani.
All right.
And George, if you would please just describe what this is for the board to understand.
Yes, this is a photo montage onto the existing site. It's obviously not to scale with regards to setbacks of the buildings and orientation. It's just to get the board to get an idea of the three buildings we are proposing. I believe the first one, 627, the one that we're speaking to first, is the one on the far right, and as you can see, it's flanked by two properties, existing properties on either side of this site. There are two 2.5-story buildings. I believe there are two family homes, both on both sides. And this is the proposed three families that we are proposing tonight. We're going to have garages on the front. To have a two-car garage within the building. We will have an apartment behind that garage on that first floor, and then we'll have two apartments on the upper floors, one on the second, one on the third. And I'll show you in my floor plans, we do have a rooftop terrace for the use of the tenants that is towards the center of the building. And here I like to just show the materials, that we're proposing. Starting on 627 here, we have a culture stone facade with then composite panel on the second and third. We have some nice windows opening onto the avenue, and we just variated the facade treatments to differentiate the homes a little bit. This one has a little bit of more of a horizontal pattern. This one more of a vertical board and batten siding pattern. We also changed the color of the stone, as well as the one on the far left. So these are the three homes that we'll be presenting tonight.
Thank you, George.
I can go into the floor plan of the buildings. I believe the engineer is here and he can speak to the site plan, if that's okay.
Let's go to the floor. That's great.
Sure. So we have a typical floor plan here, which is a first floor plan. Again, we have the garage, two-car garage, and the way you access this level is you come through the front and you would have to go up a half flight of stairs and then come back down to either give access to the garage or to the apartment behind the garage. Now, obviously, this is on grade. It's not a sunken basement, so that is why we designed it that way. If you're coming and parking inside the garage, then you'll be able to go in through the garage door and either access that apartment on the ground floor, first floor, or go up the stairs to the second and third. The apartment is a 2-bedroom apartment. It's 948 square feet, and it has 2 bedrooms, 123 and 137 square feet, and 1 bathroom, 57 square feet, and then a large kitchen, living and dining area that has a door that gives access to the rear yard for this unit. The second and third floor apartments are identical, 1,458 square feet. Again, they're accessed through the stairs, and we have a large living area, living kitchen, dining area in the front. We have 3 bedrooms with 1 master, 230 square feet that has its own bath, and then we have 139 square feet for the secondary bedrooms. There are 2 bathrooms, secondary bathrooms available also. I believe one of these could be used for each of the bedrooms, or if they choose, maybe one will be used for guests and the other one could be used for the occupants of the bedrooms. That's going to be up to the occupants of the unit to decide. We do have a laundry closet on each floor. So the second and third floor have the laundry in a closet here, and the first floor apartment has also a stackable laundry at the entrance foyer. The elevations, as I went before, I also have to speak to the deck on the roof. So essentially, you can go up the stairs, and you have a roughly 200 square foot deck in the middle of the building, in between the roof. As I can show you here in the elevation, the deck is guarded by the front and rear roof, and it will have a railing, parapet wall and railing on either side. It's just a small area that tenants can use to congregate. I mean, if somebody's using the backyard, somebody else can come up here and have a more private gathering of fewer people, of course. I don't anticipate any more than 10 people being up there at any one time. It is not large enough for large gatherings, obviously. It's meant to be more of an intimate space within the building. The side elevations all have enough glazing for the bedrooms, living spaces. There will be vinyl siding. Of course, we'll have about 4 courses of masonry on the ground, sticking out of the ground, and we have again the sliding door in the rear that gives access to that first floor apartment into the rear yard. That concludes the architectural testimony. I'm open to questions by the board.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. I have no further questions for Mr. Fernandez. Madam Chair, I yield him to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Webster. Commissioners, do we have any questions for the architect? Okay, seeing none, hearing none.
I just have one question, Madam Chair. I may have missed it.
Sure.
That rooftop deck, does everybody have access to that, did you say, or is it just that third floor unit that has the access?
Yes, everybody has access to it. It's the common stair. It's accessed by the common stair.
Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Diani.
Madam Chair, if there are no further questions, my next witness will be Mr. Izamar. He's our engineer.
Good evening.
If you raise, you have your right hand raised. Thank you. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Can you please state your name, spell your last, and provide the board with your business address, please?
Sure. My name is Baman Izadmer. I'm the site civil engineer for the project. I'm with Development Engineering LLC at 550 Colfax Road, Wayne, New Jersey 07470. And I'm the principal of the company.
Thank you. Doctor, would you please provide the board with the benefit of your education, training, and experience, and also indicate if you're licensed in New Jersey and whether your license is current and in good standing?
Sure. I have a degree in civil engineering, a master's and a PhD in civil engineering from University of Texas at Austin. I have appeared almost on every single planning or zoning board within Passaic, Essex, Hudson, and throughout New Jersey, almost throughout New Jersey. I have been a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey since 1990. My license is current and in good standing with the Board of Professional Engineers.
Thank you, Doctor. Madam Chair, I'd offer Dr. Izamar as a expert in civil engineering.
Thank you. Commissioners, do we have a motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion to accept Dr. Izamir's credentials as a professional.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Do you have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner McClellan-Watson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. You can continue, Mr. Webster.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Doc, would you share your screen? I know you've worked with us to lay out a very nice design. I'd like you to walk the board through the current condition, the proposed condition, and then just let's hit the issues that were outlined in the planner report.
Sure. My partner, George Fernandez, will share the screen because...
That's fine.
Okay. We are focusing on 627 Thomas Boulevard, which is all the way to the north of the projects that we will be discussing today. Basically, the subject property is located at 627 Thomas Boulevard within the R2 zone. And the proposal is to build a 3-family house on this property. The property is almost 5,700 square feet and is within the city of Orange Township. A small portion in the back of the property is within the city of Orange. And the overall location is very close to Montclair as well as Glen Ridge. The property currently is vacant, and we are proposing to build a 3-family house with 2-car garage and 2 on-site parking spaces. And the access to the property will be via a new driveway all the way to the north of the site, as is indicated on the site plan. And as you approach the property, you can park parallel in tandem to the side of the property, or you could basically turn gently to the left and use the driveway to go into the garage. So we have a 2-car garage. And then with the site will be equipped with a proper drainage system. So we are proposing to have a sewage pit that will have the entire roof and the sidewalk and all the other basically impervious surfaces drain to it. And we are also proposing to use grass pavers, so we will be environmentally friendly, and also will have a less runoff to treat. So the project also is adequately lighted, and we are proposing on the revised site plan 4 trees throughout the site, mainly in the backyard. Then we are also addressing the comments we received from the planner, installing planting bushes in the front, so that will create some sort of a privacy, as well as it will act as a green wall for the traffic on Thomas Boulevard or on Orange Road. The project is basically variance free in terms of the BOC requirements. We meet all the setback requirements, except of course the use. The use is an R2, so we are seeking the use variance for a 3-family house. We have fence in the front yard, as well as a fence on the sides and in the backyard. And we've decided, for the benefit of traffic safety and easy access to the house, not to put a gate at the driveway. Now, we are proposing a 10-foot driveway to be in compliance with the zoning requirements. Obviously, we could increase that width, but then that will create a variance for the driveway width. The zoning ordinance only allows 10 feet. And we are also proposing to have brand new sidewalks curbing along Thomas Boulevard. And the project will be landscaped with grass and bushes and trees throughout the site, specifically in the backyard. The whole entire backyard will be planted with grass and trees. So we will provide lighting within the walkway leading to the main door of the house, so that there will be adequate light for walking and also driving into the parking spaces. So we are meeting the parking requirements, lighting, landscaping, and drainage. So basically, in my opinion, as a professional engineer, this is a very good project because it does not require any type of BOC requirement variances. And it provides what is needed in the neighborhood, basically multifamily housing. So with that, I'm open to any question that the board members and the professionals may have.
Before we do that, Doc, I just want to mark this as Exhibit Applicants 2. Mr. Diani, this is a revised site plan. It's not the one we submitted. We have, in response to the planner's letter, we've added some shrubbery, we've added some trees, and then we've taken away the gate. So I just want to mark this as Applicants 2. And it looks like, I can't quite read it, but it looks like it should be, I guess, I can't read the date. It says S2, but I can't read the date. My eyes aren't good enough. George, if you could tell us what the date.
We'll mark it with today's date.
Mark it with today's date. Okay, great.
And how many sheets total?
I think we're just amending S2, right? And then we'll
just
S2, and then we'll submit modified plans based upon what we have tonight as part of resolution compliance.
Okay,
that's correct.
They can be happy. Madam Chair, I have no further questions for this witness. I yield him to the board.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Webster. Commissioners, do we have any questions for the architect? Okay, seeing none. Hearing none?
Madam Chair, if I may, one quick question.
Sure.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Zadmir. Could you clarify the driveway width? I had 11 feet, and I believe Mr. Webster discussed 11 feet, but then I think your testimony you said 10. Can you just clarify for us?
Sure. The curb cut, it might be actually 11 or 12. I have to take a look at my site plan again. but the effective driveway width is 10.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. That's all.
No
I just wanted to make sure I knew what we were talking about.
I appreciate that, John. I had in my notes 11. I apologize.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions? If not, thank you. We can continue, Mr. Sir.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. My last witness this evening is my planner, Matt Flynn, who I know you know. I think I see him. There he is.
Mr. Flynn, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name, spell your last, and provide the board with your business address, please?
Sure. Matthew Flynn, FLYNN. Business address is 101 Gibraltar Drive, Morris Plains, New Jersey.
Good evening, Mr. Flynn. Would you please provide the board the benefit of your education, training, and experience? And please indicate that you're a licensed planner, and also indicate whether your license is in good standing.
Sure. I have my professional planner's license in the state, as well as my national licensure, which is the AICP license. I've testified before over 100 boards, and I know I've been before this board. My education comes from Rutgers University. I have my master's degree in planning and public policy, and all of my licenses are in good standing.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn.
Thanks.
We've had the benefit of hearing from both our engineer and our architect this evening.
I have.
I'd like you to just walk the board through the issues that we need to address for variances and waivers, and hopefully provide testimony as to why the board can support this application in spite of those waivers and variances that we are requiring. I know you have a plan, and I'm sure you have some great pictures. I know you usually do, so I'm going to ask you to share your screen and walk through your presentation.
Sure. Good evening, board. It's nice to see everybody again. I'll throw an exhibit on the screen here, which is an aerial drone photograph taken by my office. And I'll send this to Dominic or Rana, whoever wants me to email this to them.
Mark this as A3.
Sure. So Exhibit A3 is just, like I said, it's an aerial image looking at the vacant property as it sits today. And can everybody see my mouse?
Yes.
Sure. So this big vacant property is what we're talking about this evening. Really, the main reason I just wanted to bring up this image was to point out that to the extent that we are requesting a use variance for 3-family dwellings, we do have nice compatibility. I'm hovering over my mouse here. 2 other 3-family properties, 636 and 634 Thomas Boulevard. So there is going to be nice compatibility. There's also some non-residential presence happening in the area. And we do also have this pretty interesting widened roadway here. And of course, we are at the corner of East Orange. We have proximity to 3 other municipalities. So I think that we're certainly in an area that is going to have minimal impact on our surroundings. Like was testified before me, we are not requesting any bulk variances. We're simply here tonight seeking that D1 use variance. So I do have to put in the proofs for site suitability. I think I just pointed out some reasons why this is a suitable location for 3-family. Not only do we have that 3-family right across the street and some non-residential happening here, this is a substantially oversized property in the context of zoning. 3,500 square feet is required in the R2 zone. This property, this subdivided property, not the whole thing, not all 3, we're talking about just 627, has 5,768 square feet. So I'd say that it's substantially oversized in the context of zoning. That substantial mass of the property allows us to come before the board and not request any setback variances, lot coverage variances, or the like. So we are left with a lot of room to do what we need to do per zoning. To move to the positive criteria or the benefits of the application, I'd say several of the purposes from the municipal land use law are furthered here, including purpose A, promotion of the general welfare, What we would call this is missing middle housing. So not everybody can afford to live in a single family house. Not everybody wants to live in an apartment building. So 3-family options like this help solve that missing middle. A variety of housing options to support the needs of all New Jersey citizens, and obviously eliminating a large vacant property that's currently not contributing anything to the town. Purpose G, variety of uses in appropriate locations. I'll fall back on the site suitability testimony. I think we're putting housing in a location that can accommodate it. Purpose M, efficient use of land. Again, no setback variances, coverage variances, height, density, parking, all of that is going to comply here. Purpose I, desirable visual environment. This is, I think we just saw the architectural plan and rendering. This is quality architecture with that's put forth by an experienced applicant. And I think what we'll see in the applications to come is that this is going to have compatibility with those other 2 properties that are going to be proposed later this evening. So it is going to have a cohesive a look to it that is going to look nice and not stand out. The flip side to that is the negative criteria, no substantial detriment to the public or to the zone. I think from a mass and scale standpoint, seeing that we're not requesting any bulk variances, this is going to look and feel exactly like it's supposed to in the context of the zoning. Again, the density complies, the parking complies, so we're not proposing anything that can't be accommodated here or is going to look like too much activity on the property. And again, that's by virtue of the substantial lot area. And I think with that, I think the D1 use variance is easily, the test for the use variance is easily satisfied here, both on the positive and the negative side. And I think approval is warranted.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Madam Chair, I have no further questions and I have no further witnesses. I rest my case in chief.
Thank you, Mr. Webster. Commissioners, do we have any questions for the applicant's planner?
I do have one question about the rooftop deck. How is it gonna be, is there like a fence around it or railing around it? How is that? And can we see?
Yeah, Commissioner, maybe I could bring back my architect just to answer that question. I think better.
I don't know
I
if you
agree.
showed a picture of it, but I didn't get a clear view of how it was gonna look, the rooftop deck.
No problem. I'm going to ask Mr. Fernandez to come back on and maybe share a screen and just go slowly over how the rooftop deck is going to be laid out.
Yes. So we can go into the floor plans. We have the deck, so it's accessed via the common stairway, and you'll be blocked by the roof to the rear and the roof to the front, and then you'll have guardrails on the sides. So here you have the stair tower for the first 4 feet, and then you have the remainder will have a guardrail on either side. Now the guardrail height is I believe 46 inches for a balcony or a deck. So that's what we will have to make sure that it's safe for the occupants.
George, can you slide down and just show them the side angle? I think that's
right here.
Okay.
So we have a parapet wall, and then we still have another railing on top of that to make sure that nobody will be able.
And how large is that space?
This space is essentially 28 feet wide, that's the width of the house, by 11 feet deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not meant for large amounts of people.
Right.
Meant for small, intimate, maybe 5 people at a time.
So that's 100 feet. What's the math? 11 times 28. I'm not the math guy. What is that? About 300 feet, 320
Yeah,
feet.
it's about 300 square feet.
So it's about the size of the living room. It's about the same size in one of the units.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Commissioners, do we have any other questions? Okay, hearing none, seeing none. Mr. Webster, you can continue.
Madam Chair, that's my last witness I have this evening. If there are no further questions from the board, then I'm going to rest on my case, and I presume your professionals and the public may have some questions of my witnesses.
Sure. I guess we'll go to our board planner first. I don't know if you want to review the planning report or if you have any specific questions, but I'd leave it up to you guys.
Sure, thank you. I believe that the applicant's witnesses and the testimony addressed most of the comments in the report. There were a couple areas that weren't touched on, but they're more engineering in nature. Consideration of the flood hazard areas. I defer to Mr. Hay about that to make sure that the design is in compliance with the appropriate regulations. The modifications to the landscaping are appreciated and consistent with the recommendations that were included in my report. Eliminated a couple of the design waivers that were originally being sought. I believe with the stipulation that the applicant would make a few minor revisions to address the report, I think everything's been addressed, and I thought that the planning testimony was on point.
Okay, thank you. So if you don't have any other questions for the applicant, then I'll go to our board engineer if he has any questions or want to go over your letter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to appreciate it. I do want to just go over our letter that was prepared by DPW office. If I could go ahead and share a screen, would that be okay?
That would be great. Thank you.
Great. Yes. Give me 1 second. See if I can bring that up. Okay. As you probably are aware, we wrote a letter back in, I believe it was back in March, actually, March 5th. Just want to highlight a few things that I didn't hear in testimony, but I believe the applicant is fully aware of. One of the things that we did, we've seen, with these types of applications is that, we usually you have to get interpretations when you're in a flood zone. Can the application be done in a flood zone? Is it appropriate? Any structure can be built in a flood zone as long as it meets the criteria. That's not just DEP criteria, but also the criteria within our particular ordinance, and that's in chapter 150, and that was stated in the general section on page 2 of our letter. And then, of course, on item number 4 on the general section, you'll notice that we are requesting that the verification be sought, as it seems that though there might be a little bit of an interpretation that needs to be received from DEP. The applicant is stating a particular first floor elevation, and our interpretation is that elevation should be at least a half foot higher. Again, DEP usually rules on that anytime you build a structure in a flood zone, which we've interpreted this to be. We ask the applicant get an interpretation, and if they have to apply for a flood hazard area individual permit, they seek such. So we don't have a lot of these types of applications, Madam Chairwoman, and for the board's edification, I don't think we've had one that I can recall in the last 10 years, but it can be done. It's just that it needs to be sure it meets not just the state code, but then also our local ordinance, which was passed not too long ago. When you get down to page number 3, there were several other items that we also went ahead and stated. Again, I mentioned about what the base flood elevation is, which we think it should be. And if you look, and again, that's on item number 1 under site plan landscape architect, our landscape plan. And when you get down to item number 2, also the same thing about fencing with respect to the waiver, what have you, which I believe the applicant's already stated. There is also some other so-called housekeeping items. I will point out to the board's edification for item number 4 on that page concerning the HVAC condenser. Typically, if it is found by the DEP that the flood elevation is at a particular level, HVAC condenser units are typically not put on a concrete pad. They're typically elevated, and we have actually gone ahead and stated that, as well as said that it interferes right now. There's discrepancy with respect to the location and the sliding door in the back. When you get down to the tree removal and replacement plan, we talked about that as well, looking to see if we can make sure that that complies with the ordinance. There's venting requirements also for crawl space areas or for areas that happen to be underneath the building in terms of how it's built. That again goes along with not just the state criteria, but also the local criteria. And again, you see the privacy fence, the city floodplain ordinance, that has to also adhere as well. We did make some, we did also indicate there was a discrepancy. I believe that the applicant's already taken care of that with respect to the planning. Again, numerous small items that have to be addressed. Don't think that there's anything that we have to highlight other than the HVAC compressor pad has to be elevated if it happens to be within the floodplain area. Also, I will point out that the grading and drainage has to comply as well within the site. As it appears in our interpretation, the entirety of the site happens to be within the flood zone. But that, of course, does not mean that the application can't be done. It just has to make sure it complies with not just our local rules, but the state rules as well. When you get down to the soil erosion plan, again, several housekeeping items that we've asked to go ahead and also address. And you'll notice that with the signal and marking plan, the applicant has provided some information with respect to making sure that these buildings, especially this particular one, can be accessible without causing a traffic issue. We have put in some recommendations, what have you, with respect to turning templates, some striping and signage. I think that's probably appropriate in this, in this instance. And again, we'd ask the applicant to go ahead and hear to our comments from DPW. We mentioned about the floor plans with the discrepancy between the sliding door and the HVAC unit. We also want to make sure that the elevations are adjusted once DEP comes back with interpretation. And again, Madam Chairman, I believe that's all of my comments related to this particular application. Again, I want to make sure I stress to the board that it's use variance is one thing, but for a site plan, there are several issues that have to be addressed. I believe this applicant will get the interpretation that they need to from DEP, make the adjustments, and that the application should be able to work. And I rest my testimony, Madam Chairwoman.
Madam Chair, just to
okay, no, yeah, I was gonna before you go down your list of responses to Mr. Hay, I just wanted to ask: is it your intention, or is it your client's intention to move forward with the interpretation from the DEP and getting the permit that he discussed in his letter?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I yield to you to go down your your list of responses.
No, I'm just going to say we're going to comply with all the conditions.
Okay.
Of the letter.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, commissioners, do we have any questions, or do we need clarification on any of Mr. Hayes' engineering review? Okay, hearing none. Seeing none, my last question, Mr. Hay, I'm just wondering is, in your opinion, is if this application was to move for approval, do you consider just having a condition that it meets your engineering report sufficient enough, or would you recommend coming back for final plan?
I mean, I look at it this way: the applicant only takes the risk with respect to the height of the building because, as you know, our letter is pretty clear that we think that the elevation should be perhaps an extra foot higher. Now, that might put it into the realm of having to get a height variance, but that height variance might not be D criteria. So I really don't have an answer for that end of it, but I'm going to say that based on what I've seen and what I've examined, they should be able to meet the height criteria. Again, everything's interpreted DEP. Yeah. If it does exceed the height and we get an interpretation, we look at it, we'll obviously alert the planning department. But I would think right now that they, again, and Mr. Webster knows this well as I know, you can't put an outside approval, hinge an outside approval on, and condition it on this approval. You can't do that. So I would say we let them go ahead and take that chance. I think they got good chances they won't have to do it. So I believe this construction can be done. It's just whether or not it's what's the DEP's interpretation and what type of flood venting and flood proofing that will need to be done from that elevation that's been interpreted below to grade.
Okay. And then I guess theoretically, if they have to come in for a high variance, if it goes above it, we'll discuss that at that time.
Madam Chair, if we have to raise half a foot, we still wouldn't need a high variance. So we're okay even if we have to raise the building a half a foot.
I'm just covering all bases in case last week DEP decided things need to be even higher. So okay, no problem. All right. So if we're done, commissioners, then I guess we'll open it up to the public to see if there's any questions or comments on the application. Rana, I don't know if there's
okay.
if you can let us know.
We have about it seems to be 12 people in attendance. If anyone would like to pose a question to our panelists, please use the raise hand notification. Okay, I have one I'll bring over. Okay, you're on.
Is there a member of the public?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just brought her over. Ajayi, I think is the last name. Are you there? There you go.
Okay, and you can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Tarkedia Ajayi. My address is 640 Walsh Avenue in Orange. I have a one-family property that is right behind this property. I have a little over 7,000 square feet. I own the property, and I am here with other members. I don't have a question. We have a petition that we would like to present. And then I also have personal comment. So should I go forward with the petition?
Yeah,
does she have to be sworn in?
Yeah.
I have to object to the petition. People are allowed to present their personal opinions, but they're not allowed to represent the position of others. I'm not able to cross-examine them, so I'm happy to hear Ms. Ajayi's comments, but I'm going to have to object to the petition.
Okay, I do
have.
Not
all the members, I'll just note, not all the members of the petition who signed the petition or however the petition was prepared aren't here to be cross-examined. The applicant does have the right to cross-examine members of the public who present their opinions with regards to the application. So I would sustain that objection. However, Ms. Ajayi, if you please, if you're going to make a comment, that's great. I do need to just swear you in, though, in case Mr. Webster does have any questions of you after your comment. Do you have the ability to turn your video on?
I would love to. I usually see the option to do that. Has that been enabled for the public? I see the volume, but I don't see the ability to turn on the.
That's fine. If you could just, if you just raise your right hand and do you swear? Okay. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. I do have members of that on here on the petition that are on the call. Is there a way for them to raise their hand or be brought in so that they can be heard with me?
So they'll come in. They can come in one at a time, and they'll state their name and address for the record, the same as you have, and they can give their comments to the board at that time.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So, as I mentioned, my house is right behind it. I have 7,000 square feet property. It's a one family. It was mentioned that there were three families. backing to these properties are all one-family homes. My concern from what I hear is that there are 9 families that would be in my backyard, basically. So I will state this, that this is to express my deep concern regarding the proposed development of the homes that do not meet the zoning code in my neighborhood. As a resident and member of this community, I strongly oppose to this initiative and urge you to reconsider allowing such construction. It's important to highlight the negative impact of a larger multifamily investment homes in my community. It is important to emphasize that the residents of this community, myself, have a vested interest in maintaining the integrity of my neighborhood. I have chosen to live here because of specific zoning regulations and requirements that were put in place to ensure a cohesive and harmonious living environment. Allowing homes that do not meet these standards would undermine the trust and confidence in maintaining this harmony. In light of the aforementioned concerns, I kindly request that the planning department carefully consider the potential negative impact of allowing homes that do not meet the zoning to be built in my neighborhood. I urge you to prioritize the well-being of the desires of the residents, myself, who call this community my home, to ensure that the 627, 617, and 621 Thomas Boulevard remain within the current zoning regulations.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ajayi. Does that conclude your comment for the board?
Yes, I just want to reiterate that the community is a cohesive community that are mainly one families. It is a highly concerned from what I heard here that the backyard will be looking to put 9 families as well as a rooftop deck basically over my home. I asked that I heard all of the building specs and everything, but I did not hear the from the point of view of putting so many families in my backyard, in the neighbor's backyard, in the majority of one family, actually on our side, one family homes in the community. We just would love that this stay within the current regulation. I understand that the property is vacant and needs to be filled, but it is highly concerning to think that 9 families will come in there. I have personal experience. I understand on that side where it's being built, there are also one family homes. There is I believe, a 2-family home, and I personally, and this is why I'm here today, I have personally had issues with the 2-family home. Firecrackers at 1 o'clock in the morning, loud music. Just being here has doubled my concern having to deal with that with 9 families where one home used to sit. So I urge you to take in consideration the people who live there, our community that's established in keeping the zoning regulations.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ajayi. Appreciate your input.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, commissioners, are there any
Mr. Webster,
other? I was going to say, Mr.
Did you have
Webster,
any
do you
questions?
have any comments?
Yeah.
I do not. I don't have any questions for Ms. Johnny.
Okay, thank you. So Rana, if there's other members of the public, can you bring them over?
Okay, Ms.
Ask them to
Almond.
state their their name and address for the record, please.
Okay, Mr. Jai, thank you so much for your comments. I'll put you back over into the attendee side and bring over Ms. Kuntz. 1 second. Okay, she should be Ms. Almond Kuntz.
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, yes. Go
Hi,
ahead.
good evening. Yes, I'm at 626 Walsh Avenue, and as my neighbors has said, my house.
Miss Coates, I did need to swear you in before you begin your comment.
Okay, no problem.
Just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Proceed.
Okay, my concerns are the same because my backyard is facing the that that the proposed area that the building is going to be, the house is going to be in. And I'm just seconding what the my neighbor has said. We do have a list of, I think, 16 signatures opposing the plans, and we have all the same concerns. So I'm not sure if I'm able to read off the signatures. Are you allowing me to do that, or no?
No, that you wouldn't be able to do that this evening because if each person that has a comment, they can come over, they can be sworn in, and they can give their comment to the board. But one individual is not allowed to represent another individual's interests, so we won't be able to do that tonight.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Mr. Webster, did you have any questions for the member of the public?
No, I do not, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Almond Coops. I will take you back to the other side, and the next person is it Damari Flowers. Okay.
Yes, how you doing?
There you
Can
go.
you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. How you doing?
Mr. Flowers, can you please state your full name and your address for the record, and then be sworn in by our attorney?
Absolutely. My name is Damari Flowers. In 633 Welsh Avenue, Orange, New Jersey, 07050.
I was muted, I know, sorry. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. Proceed, sir.
Yes. Name is Damari Flowers. I'm not sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. I do also want to express my concerns. I am another person that signed a petition, right? Because you said that you can't express somebody else's interests. Well, my interest is that I like to express I don't want those houses there. Veteran, United States Marines, Sergeant Flowers. How you doing? We already have established consensus with everyone here, right? But once again, no thank you. That is all. Hello.
Okay, Madam Chair,
I'm sorry, I couldn't unmute. Thank you, Mr. Flowers. Appreciate your input for this evening. We'll return you over to the other area, and if I don't think Mr. Webster, you have any questions for him?
Do not, Madam Chair.
Okay, just making sure. All right, thank you. And so, Rana, if you can bring over the next person.
Sure. Now I'm not sure if anyone else is wants to. Oh, we do. We have someone here. We have a Curtis Chambers. I'll bring him over now. Mr. Chambers, you're on.
Yes. My name is Curtis Chambers. I live at 617 Walsh Avenue, Orange, New Jersey. And I, like the other residents of Walsh
Mr.
Avenue.
Chambers, let me, again, I'm sorry, just gotta swear you in for the record.
Sure.
And yeah, raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, proceed.
I live at 617 Walsh Avenue, and like the rest of the residents on Walsh Avenue, I want to just express my concern as well at the developments that are proposed for the board. And I concur, and I'm one of the signatories of the petition. I don't want to add any more or less. I think that we've expressed our concerns completely, and I hope that you see in our favor. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, you would like me
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mr. Damari. if you can bring the next person over.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chambers, for your comments. I'll take you over to the attendee side again. Just waiting for someone else to give me a raised hand notification. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right. So if there are no other members of the public that want to make a comment or push the
I'm
raise hand.
sorry. My apologies. I do have someone who called in who does not have access to
Okay.
that feature. So I'll just hit the allow to talk, and the
Okay.
person at the number ending in 3266, I'll hit the allow to talk if you'd like to say something. If not, we'll give a moment for you to respond. If not, I'll take you back over to the other side. Okay, so you would need to hit *6 to unmute yourself if you'd like to make any comments at this time.
Hi, my name is Chandel.
Hi, Chantel.
Hi,
What's your last name?
David.
Please state your full name and your address for the record, please, and then you'll be sworn in by our attorney.
Sure, Chandel David.
And if you can
Address?
just give address.
632 Walsh Avenue.
If you can raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, so I'm also one of the residents on Walsh Avenue that signed the petition. I'm in agreement with my neighbors. I just have a question regarding the entrance to the property. Is it one entrance that will be for all 3 units?
No, there'll be 3 different entrances. There'll be a separate entrance for each home and a separate driveway for each home.
Okay, I also see that also creating a traffic hazard for that area because it's such a busy area. It connects to many different streets and towns. It's basically like a star. The back end of my home also faces the empty area for the units, and being that this will be a rental unit, we as residents live here, so we know the area and we know who we live with. So I don't know what type of property management will encompass these units, but from living here for the few years I've lived here, I've ran into many issues with different types of people that live here. There are, the ones that want to live a cohesive life, and then there are the ones that don't. I foresee many things happening with this property, including loud noise, also with the roof deck. I don't know what the access will be for that, but residents that do have children that will have access to that roof deck, I don't know what will happen with that, but I see a lot of issues that will happen with this, which is why I think we as this residents of this neighborhood would object to the property being built there. Thank you for your time.
Madam Chair, I just want to state that the developer's intent is actually to sell the properties. He's not building them to rent or manage. He's building them to sell them to individuals. So I'm not sure at this point if they're going to be 9 families or different types of mothers, daughters, children. But we don't know that. But we are trying to create 9 units, not 6 is what's allowed in the statute under the ordinance. But the properties are for sale. My client is not going to own and operate and manage the property as a multifamily.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Webster. Rana, if there are any just a thank you to the member of the public. I don't see your name in front of me, so I apologize. But thank you for participating.
Thank you for your comments. I'll kick her over to the attendee side now.
Okay, thank you.
If there, I'll give one last, opportunity. If there's anyone interested in sharing their comments or concerns with the panelists tonight, please use the raise hand notification, and I'll bring you over. Okay, Madam Chair, I am not seeing any raised hands.
Okay, thank you, Rana. Okay, and so then that will conclude the public session for tonight's meeting, and we'll move forward with our closing arguments, unless commissioners, we have any questions or comments before we allow Mr. Webster to move forward. Okay, seeing none, hearing none. All right, Mr. Webster, you can conclude.
Sure, thanks. This application is a pretty straightforward application. The housing that we're proposing is in conformance with respect to the size and dimensions that are allowed under the ordinance. The application simply is asking for an additional apartment to be allowed to be in the ground floor and the garage level. The type of house, the style of house that's being proposed is well within the ordinance. If the board doesn't see it, there's still going to be 6 families there. There's still going to be a rooftop deck. This is simply an extra unit on the ground floor. There is going to be a development there. My client is going to build the houses. The only reason we're here tonight is that we're asking for 3 families instead of a 2-family. We do believe that the project is cohesive with the existing neighborhood. We do believe that it's conducive to economic development. It's conducive to the overall master plan. We think that we think that it's a good project. Looking at Thomas Boulevard, our engineer has met with the town engineer. There are no traffic issues. We've addressed those issues. They're satisfied. The bottom line is that we're asking for a 3-family, where a 2-family is allowed. I understand that the folks on the street behind us in Orange have had essentially a park area behind their houses, and I understand why that's desirable. There are going to be 3 houses there. The only question is there going to be a 3-family or a 2-family? We believe that there's a case to be made for a 3-family, and that's why we're here this evening. We hope you agree. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate your consideration. Thank you very much.
Okay, commissioners, do we have any comments? I do have one question for you, Mr. Webster. So if the board does not see fit to approve a 3-family for these units, are you saying your client will move forward and build a 2-family in place?
Yeah, we're going to build the same house. The only question is the same house. It just won't have a.
Got it. It'll be 2 units instead of 3. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, commissioners, do we have any final comments before I ask for a motion?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. Okay, so then at that point, can I please ask for a motion on this particular application?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move the ZB, well, it's the address is 627 Thomas Boulevard. I move the acceptance of this project.
Okay, do we have a second?
Now, is that just before obviously with all the conditions that we've talked about throughout the hearing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
all the board professionals conditions and getting all the state or federal and county approvals as necessary, including any of the NJDEP stuff with the flood, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yanni, we will comply with all the conditions that were discussed at tonight's hearing.
Thank you.
Madam Chair. Okay, I second the motion. Madam Chair.
Okay, that means we need a roll call, Janice?
Commissioner Athill,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
No.
Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Jones. Okay, I saw Commissioner Jones on earlier. All right.
No,
Commissioner,
no.
Commissioner
Sorry.
Jones is a no.
No.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner McClinton Watson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson,
No.
no. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 no, 4 yeses only. Mr. Diani, and 1, 2, 3, 3 no's. So the case is not approved.
Yeah, it's done.
Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, the D1 variance, you need five affirmatives.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Madam Chair, if you would give us a 5-minute recess in light of what's just happened, we have to decide if we want to go forward with these other 2 applications. As you know, a 2-family application is as of right, this board wants.
Right. Yep. No problem. Yep, definitely. You can, we'll go ahead and take a 5-minute recess, and, we'll just log back in and let us know that you're ready to continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
No problem. Okay, commissioners, we'll have 5 minutes while the applicant and his attorney go over the following 2 applications. So get a drink, go to the bathroom.
Okay, you can close your cameras, but please be advised that everyone in the attendees can still.
We're still being recorded, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and please mute your mics if you choose to. Thank you.
Thanks.
Madam Chair, I'm back when you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Webster.
That was 5 minutes. I didn't keep track. I apologize.
It was close enough. Okay, commissioners?
Yes.
Everyone's still on. Janice, can we please have a roll call for after the intermission?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Just want to have roll call, make sure everyone is,
Sure.
you know.
Commissioner Athill?
Present.
Commissioner Green?
Present.
Mr. Johnson?
Present.
Commissioner Jones?
Present.
Commissioner Kelly?
Present.
Commissioner McClinton Watson?
Present.
Commissioner Hudson?
Present.
We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, so I will let Mr. Webster continue. I know you wanted to confer with your client to talk about the following 2 applications, so I'll give you the floor.
Madam Chair, in light of what's happened on the first application and considering the other 2 applications are essentially the same building, my client has declined to withdraw his other applications. We will just proceed to build the 2 family houses. I want to thank the board for their attention. I want to thank the board for their consideration. I want to thank the board's professionals for listening. And I really appreciate the time everyone has spent this evening. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Webster. Appreciate your time as well.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
You too.
Madam Secretary, Mr. Vianney, do I need to send in any correspondence? Is there anything I need to do
I'd prefer it just for the file for the 2 lots. You're just going to be withdrawing 621 and 617.
Correct. I mean, 627's already been denied, so I don't know if I need anything else there. But I can send a letter on 621 and 617.
That'd be great. I appreciate that.
Okay. Do I address it to you or to the board secretary?
To the board secretary, if you just copy me as a CC.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else?
No, I think we're good with your applications. Thank you, Mr. Webster.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Webster, and thank you to your applicant and your professionals this evening for their time. Appreciate it. You're welcome.
Board, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, commissioners, I think that was the last item on the agenda. Is there any reports of officers?
No, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Janice. Commissioners, anything else we want to put on the record?
No. You know what, Commissioner Hudson, hold on, I'm just trying to find the March minutes. I looked and I didn't see my name on there. I don't think we were voting on it. Okay, here, I have it, I'm sorry. So I noticed on the memorialization of minutes of March 2024, I was present, but I'm not sure whether we were voting on anything that time. I know we had someone come before the board, but then they were going to come back another month. So I guess the commissioner is eligible to vote. I guess my name wasn't down here because they were voting on something from February, maybe? I'm just getting clarification.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Sure, go ahead, Janice.
Is this, no, I'm sorry. Forget it. I was thinking about the planning board. I'm sorry.
No problem. I mean, Janice, keep me honest. I believe if it's showing commissioners eligible to vote on the minutes, that would be for the commissioners that were present at that meeting and eligible to vote on memorialization of the minutes. Is that accurate?
Then I was present.
Okay.
So that's my question, because my
Sure.
name doesn't.
Oh, those were for the minutes from February, I believe. We were memorializing the minutes from February.
That's why I asked that. Was it
Yes.
for the month of February or was it for March? Okay.
Yeah, they were actually both on the agenda.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see they were both on the agenda, but my question was the memorialization of minutes of March
Got
was for February. And that's why my name didn't appear. Or was it for March?
No, it should be the ones for March should be for who was in attendance in March, and the ones for February should be who was in attendance in February.
Then there is an error then, because March I was present and my name does not appear. That was mine.
But wouldn't we memorialize those minutes for this meeting because it's April's meeting? So wouldn't it have been the names for?
No.
Maybe
No.
no. So the people who were present at the March meeting are able to vote on memorializing those minutes. Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The resolutions are a little bit different because it depends on who actually voted and who was there for the vote. So, sometimes the application could go over 3 different meetings, right? Or, they drop off and come back. So the resolutions are a little bit different. It could be in different months, but for the minutes, it should reflect who was actually at that meeting where the minutes are being read and approved.
Okay, so then can we make the correction there then?
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Commissioners, do we have any other corrections that we saw in the minutes? Unless that was it, we'll have that reflected on the record.
Okay.
Okay, and then my computer went down on me for some reason, so I'm on my phone. Janice, if you could remind us when the next meeting is, so we can read that into the record.
The next meeting is May. I'm sorry. Let me just. I said the wrong thing. May 8th at 7:30 p.m. via Zoom.
Oh, that's my daughter's birthday. Look at that. Okay, all right, perfect. So, commissioners, that will be our next scheduled meeting. And if there's nothing else in the record, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. And who was that? Commissioner Adhill?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Adhill. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, meeting adjourned. Thank you, commissioners, for your time.
Bye,
and everyone, have a good evening.